G'day everyone, welcome back to Not the Fish Room, welcome back to my place. So today's video going to be a little bit different, and it's something that has been widely requested throughout the comments on the channel, and it's going to be about this guy. So this is an 80-year-old bonsai that we've had for 80 years. So today's exercise is about doing some work on that one. I do have a few other bonsais that my mate, sorry I'll put you down, my mate here that way, that my mate's given me to work on. So I'm a bit nervous about one of them also, because it's another 80-year-old bonsai, and we'll just have to see how that goes. But I will show you inside the fish room as well. I've got some stuff going on there, and just the random stuff that happens yeah, in between the start of filming and the end of filming. So go and get comfy, because I'm not really going to talk about fish, mostly about bonsais, but some fish as well. So it's yeah, that's just how it's going to go, I guess. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Oh, one last thing too. If you're having trouble reading the shirt, it says, surely not everybody was kung fu fighting. Okay, so I should probably give you a little bit of history about this tree. So it's been in my family now for 80 years and was actually bought back from World War II by my grandfather, and he served in Papua New Guinea, and I'm not sure if he got it when he was in Papua New Guinea, or whether or not he brought it back from one of the tropical areas up north, because it's from what I can tell, it's a Queensland fig, a small leaf Queensland fig, and as I say, he brought back just the one of them in 1945 as a present for my dad, and it's been in the family ever since. It was actually way bigger, like a metre tall, not that long ago, and I'd not say that, that's wrong actually, it was 10 years ago now. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess, having a fish room and everything else. But so we have a lot of history and providence that goes with this tree, and we have watered it and taken care of it and pruned it every day of its life till now. So I'm hoping that this is just another quick change for it, and it comes back on beautifully after what we're going to do to it today. And again, before I jump into it, this is just an example of the tools that I may need to use today. So I don't have a fancy kit of any sort. These are the two bonsai pruning scissors I had. I used to have a much better kit, but you know, disappeared. I bought some wire, scrapers and cutters and bits and pieces. So these are really important, a pair of pliers for wiring up the ends of your branch when you do that as well. So the soil substrate potting mix I'm going to use, I'm probably going to use just this bonsai mix in this one, just because it's of the age, and I want to make sure it's, as it says on here, got all of the bits and pieces, trace elements, calcium, potassium, coarse grit, 6 months worth of feeding. Usually I would mix up my own, which would be some premium potting mix with all the similar stuff in it, some perlite, maybe a little bit of sand as well. But that's the kit for today. So I'm going to go and get started, and yeah, you're about to see what happens. Okay, so the sun is extremely hot where I had that bonsai this morning, and I want to try to film this today. So I'm going to get it done here, which is where I've set myself up in the shade. Brutus is in position. Zeke's got his ball in position. Got a coffee and my glasses, because I have a bit of a decision to be made in relation to the front of this tree. So this is actually the original front, and you can see all of this growth has come over in the middle here. What I've got to do essentially is decide whether I want to keep that the front by taking this stuff out and or rewiring it, or do I turn it around and make this the front. And it's quite okay to do that with bonsais. Trees grow the way they grow, and usually they tell you, or they show you the shape that they should be in relation to bonsai. So I like the fact that I've got these leaves at the back here. If I were to remove this, I'll actually get the shape of this trunk and the angles I like for the roots that are coming down. I've also then got a it's a tap root from one of the branches down here, if you can see that in there, going down, which is, in my opinion, better, I think, seen from behind. And I'll have to take off a few of these little leaves here, like this one here is coming out too far to make this the front. I'll need to wire these branches up, trim the leaves, and I'll do a soil change on this one as well. Hopefully you'll get to see the detail of it, given it's green on green, but I'll try to stop as I go, and I might do a little bit of time lapse, just sort of when it gets boring as far as the wiring's concerned. So I'm going to set the camera up on a stand. This is the other bonsai, by the way, that is 80 years old. I've got to make a decision about what style I'm going to do that. You can see it's quite a tall trunk that's grown around something. Might even be a strangler fig, I'm not sure, but it yeah, thanks Zig, that's nice. So Zig owns this one. So I've got to work out again the front or back of this tree. This pot is extremely heavy, it's a concrete pot, and I will repot it, but I do need to get this back probably by at least 1/3, and I don't know if that will happen in today's video, or whether or not, if you guys like the bonsai stuff, I can show some full rescaping training of bonsais. I did this one yesterday. I think this one might be one of Zig's favorites. So this is how it looked just with a picture before shot, or a couple of them, and you'll see that it's pretty overgrown and shabby, and this is how it looks now. So I've continued, it was leaning to the left, so, and it was in this side of the pot here. What I've done is continued that literati style and got some distinct pads that will thicken up, and I'm trying to get this crown to be nice and uniform, same as this one, same as this one, same as this one. I've wired them, and I've repotted it by putting the root, the base, and the buttress, which I've exposed, which looks pretty good. And I've just used some river rock gravel that I had, that I use in my fish tanks, obviously. One of these spiky, succulent type things. I'll try to find out what that is and put that on the screen. Zig, do you know what that one is? No? So I'm really quite pleased with the way that one turned out. I probably should have filmed it, but yeah, I didn't think it would turn out as good as that, and yeah, I don't know other than that why I didn't film it. So what I'll do, I've got quite a few more of these as well that I can do. I've got these ones to go. These are again my mates. He's asked me to come and fix those guys up, which is something I'll do, and again, depending on how the video does this time around, I may even film it. And this is an Australian rubber tree group forest planting that I did for him some years ago, and yeah, it's in need of a cut down, that one for sure. And then of course I've got all my bonsais that my dad and I look after over there, that I could actually again film just the rescape of it. The pool's a bit green at the moment, had lots of rain. So there's my mate the butcher bird having a drink. How are you, my friend? Not you, Zig. Sheriff. I wasn't talking about that. I wasn't talking about that friend. I was talking about this one. All right, I'm going to have to go and sort the sheriff out. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so I've done a little bit of wiring. You won't notice too much from this side because I haven't got into it yet, but as I spin it around, hopefully you'll see there's a bit more structure in this bottom layer of pads through here, because I want them to be the furthest out. Obviously the cone going up and over this way. I have, there's a definite art form into putting bonsai wire on, and I'm no expert, that's for sure. I have had to double wire this one, which again should probably look more like this type of double wiring here, where you put the two on at the same time and keep them running uniform. There shouldn't be any twists or crossovers, and I do try to go the opposite way to what I did last time, because then you get these nice gnarled areas up the top here. You can see, let's move around this way a bit. There we go. So you'll see here that last year's wiring has left these indentations, and that'll actually just form part of the shape of the tree, and it ultimately should look something like that, you know, gnarled and all textured, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I might just show you actually applying one thing of wire to this one here, which I've got to just keep moving this camera. It's obviously I've got the setting on something wrong this time. So I'm going to wire this one because I want the shape, I want to actually have it go out and over and hold that position, and you're encouraging the tree to grow in position with the wire around it, and then within, you know, 6, 8, 12 weeks you can take that wire off, and in theory the branches will stay with their bends and you know, shapes that you put into them. These ones have to need a bit of wiring as well, just to take them over and up, so you don't want any coming up straight from the tree, unless it's the lead one, the lead shoot that you want to actually appear that way as well. So I'll set the camera up now so I can show you this wiring. Okay, so the aim is usually to get wire that's approximately half the thickness of the branch that you're wiring, and also the length with where you want to get it. So I'm only going to use one piece this time. Just cut that, shouldn't really do it with my bonsai scissors. And you always start at the back of the, just checking that sound's working, yep. So you always start at the back of the branch where you don't need it to twist, and then simply wrap it around without getting any of the other leaves and or branches caught in it, the stem, or the yeah, I guess the stem part of the branch. And then you should have relatively close circles as they come around. Keep your spirals the same distance apart. You want to have it quite firm on the branch as well, not too tight, but also not loose at all. There should be no spaces between the tree and the or the branch and the wire. So that there, I'm hoping, will give me enough of an angle to be able to tilt that down and away. Let me just take this out of the tripod. So as you can see, it's now got more of an angle where I've twisted it along, and it's a bit of an art, again, an experience that people have learning just how much to bend a branch before it snaps, and that is definitely something that every bonsaiist does, and they're never overly happy about it, but that's how it looks once it's wired. And if I come back and give you the perspective now of the front of the tree, it's actually going the correct way, nice angle. These are still facing up, which I will probably bend them out a bit more with a couple of extra pieces of wire, and then in fact I'll try to show you that one, because I'm going to use one of the double folded wires, but at the end you split it into the two sections to do the two leaves, so I might just show you that as well. Okay, so the trick to doing that is the same length of wire, and I want to go over that area I've done before as well, and then fold it in half, pinch the end, don't twist the wire, cut it off at equal lengths, and what I'm going to do is follow that last wire that's gone on in exactly the same place, in exactly the same I guess contour that I've got in the first one, so it becomes essentially one bit of wire. Then as I get up to this end piece here, I'm just going to split the wires like so. This one will continue this way, and you'll naturally see as you do this, which one goes to the left and which one goes to the right. And then I'm going to keep bringing that right to the end as far as I can get it, and wrap it nice and neatly around the end of that tip there. And that should keep doing the same thing with this one. And you don't ever want to get a leaf stuck in the wire, so you need to go between all of the leaf nodules, and then that allows me to bend this one this way, this one this way, or whichever way ultimately I decide is the best look for the tree. And it keeps this space open in the front, and you actually have it coming out as far as your perspective is concerned. So this one probably needs to go across a bit more, possibly bend him a bit there, bend him a bit there, just to get that angle right. And you're trying to fill this void here, because ultimately you want it to slope back towards the top of the tree. And then again, you'll see from this position when you sit down just how you want that to look. Maybe I can zoom that out a bit. Yep, I can. So you don't want anything crossing over as far as the sight lines are concerned. You definitely want them facing down and then slightly up at the end, and then you can see across the top of that pad through there, and you'll see how a bit more shaping is required on these things. But I'm starting now to open up this void in the middle, which will be the main viewing angle for this tree. Okay, so that's how it's finished up after the trim. I think it's definitely got more of a style and a shape to it that I was looking for. I'm pretty happy with the way it's all turned out, and obviously the thicker section is here at the back. So what I'm going to do now is give it a quick repot, just a light repot. I'm not going to rip into the roots, I'm just going to change the soil out and then put it back in position and water the hell out of it. And I'll also show you when I'm doing the repot how I'm going to sort of scape it, because just like I think the principles in fish with aquascaping is it's the finessing at the end that actually brings it all together. And I think if you've got definitely an affinity with aquascaping, that you'll enjoy doing bonsai. Even if it's you haven't done it before, it's actually something that's really enjoyable and rewarding, and year after year continues to deliver. So that's how it looks. Now I will, I think I might even set up the tripod and just talk through the actual repotting. So I'll do that now. Okay, so it should lift out reasonably easily. Just going to find a good vantage point that I can grab hold of it, and we'll see. We will soon see. There we go. So now, hopefully, with a little bit of encouragement, it'll come out. And you'll see it's yeah, the roots are pretty good on it. I've got the little plastic inserts here that stop the drainage, that stop all the dirt coming out from the drainage. That's these things here. So what I'm going to do is just really tease the outside of it. I'm going to make a mess, but I'll have to clean that up. And I really just want to get most of the dirt around the edges just removed to a point, because I want to just encourage the root growth, and also to put the new, back around this way, that's the whole point of having a spinning dovery, I guess, isn't it? So I'm just giving it a light. In fact, I'm going to grab one of my little tools. Okay, so just a regular sort of garden fork. I'm being careful of these, in particular this root, aerial root here. And I just want to take a bit away from the top and the sides as well. Straighten the garden. Same on this side, I'll bring him around. Just to, as I say, tease a little bit out. And that will certainly encourage the roots to go and seek out some new soil. It also pays to keep the old soil aerated. You don't want any really thick roots in here. The thin fibrous ones are definitely the ones you're looking for. What do you think, Zig? He's down there sniffing all this stuff. Ziggy definitely finds fish keeping more enjoyable and entertaining than he does the bonsais, but each to their own, I guess. Okay, so I'm just going to pop him on the ground for a second. Okay, we're back with the pot. So what I'm going to do there is just fill these drainage holes with this plastic netting that I've got down here. You can put wire in them as well, but I don't really think I need it given what I'm going to do, how I'm going to position it. Now I do usually like to make up my own bonsai mix, but with this guy I'm not going to risk it given his age. I'm going to use the pre-prepared stuff, and I'm just going to put a bit of a mound in the center there, a bit out to the edges, and then a bit more in the middle. And I'll just see how high it sits depending on how high I want it on that mound. I'm just going to pick him back up, sit him back in. So I'd like him to go back a bit further. So what I'm going to do is remove a bit more dirt here on the back edge with my trusty fork, because I'd like a little bit of space between the front of the pot and yeah, the trunk basically. So I want to be careful of this aerial root, as I said. I'm not going to go too far back. One thing it's not good to do is have the bonsai trunk right up against the front of the pot. It just changes the perspective. And again, there is lots of set rules with bonsai that I don't follow religiously, but loosely is enough for me. Okay, so if I pop him back in there, yeah, that's better. So I'm going to encourage this to go right to the back, like so. And you'll see the distance here. I've got, you know, a double finger width, or 3 if you go to the front of the pot there, just sitting back, and the back buttress is pretty much touching now the back of that pot. So what I'm going to do now is just tip in the bonsai mix, and then I just use an old paint scraper. I don't have a U-Butte set of bonsai tools really. I used to, I don't know what happened to them. Like everything, you just lose track of it, especially when you move house and stuff, and spend all my time in the fish room. Okay, that's doing all right. I'm just going to keep on filling this up now. And I'd like it to be, it's a reasonably well compacted, I guess, fill that you put in here, but I want it not to come any higher than just below the edge, because that'll stop the water from actually taking the soil out. And I'm going to put gravel and rocks type thing on this now as well, which is the bit I probably enjoy the most, the actual scaping side of things. Just pushing that all the way down, making sure you get between the pot and the roots that you've just harvested all that dirt off of, right down in there. Being careful not to change the shape that you've just gone and spent all that time wiring. So I think I've talked about the rule of thirds with bonsai in aquascaping before. This one's obviously in the center of the pot, which is more of a formal style. And if you look into bonsai, you'll see there's a whole heap of different styles and you know, shapes of trees that you can aim for, and there's a very set structure really if you're going to go right into it. It's a very I think specific and well documented, you know, series of rules to follow as far as an art form is concerned. Just going to push a few more holes in and around the existing roots, get some of this dirt in there, but also allow the water to go in. Sometimes they do get a bit hydrophobic. It's not too common if you're watering them all the time. I find I don't use any soil wetting agents if I can help it. I prefer just to use something like sea salt, which will actually bring it back in. I'm just tucking those roots in. I don't know if you can see it on that angle there. Weeding as I go. And again, it's quite a decent sort of a push down, just to make sure it's all, there's no holes, no air gaps. Those roots are going to remain nice and moist and be able to get straight into the nutrients in the soil. Nothing better than dirty hands when it comes to the bonsai. I love getting my hands in the dirt. It's yeah, very enjoyable, this part of it. And now you can scape. You can see I'm going to have a bit more of a mound on this side and a height difference on this side. We'll give it a bit of shape differentiation between the two areas. Draw your eyes to whatever I'm going to put over on this side. You can put accent plants and you can put little Chinese characters and so forth. And I haven't made up my mind what I'm doing with this yet. I don't usually do that until I'm doing it. Same as when I do the aquascaping. So I'm just going to put a bit more soil around this guy, which is the aerial root here at the back. That's nice and tight in there. If there's going to be air gaps or whatever, it'll be between this area that I've disturbed. And again, pushing it down so it's below the level of the pot, preferably. Taking the leaves out. They look good when they fall on there over time, but not when you first set it up and you're doing what I'm trying to do here. And that root's pretty good. That weed's out of there. Okay, tuck him all in. And I think that's it from a repotting perspective. So what I'll do is give it as a quick water, and yeah, then I can actually work on how I'm going to scape it, if that's the right term, I guess. And again, a really good soak, making sure you push in any areas that you have just put new soil in or taken away stuff from the back of it, like me over here. Now for the gravel and the moss and the scaping that I want to go and do. I've got to go and find it first. I did collect some the other day, so hopefully that will look all right. Now, as it turns out, I think the DJI has ran out of battery. So what I've just done and collected some moss, and these two little dudes I'm going to put into the scape. I've also got some more moss down here in between the tripod legs. I have got some gravel, just the river gravel that I use out of the creek for my scapes, and a couple of different rocks here as well. So I'm going to put those on now. I think I'll talk you through it, just because it's I guess it's I'm explaining my style. How you would do it is up to you, but I'm thinking the two guys will go somewhere over here, maybe a rock at the back. I put some sawdust down here just to be able to get a nice green I guess mound over this side, and coming down here for the moss. Okay, moving the chair in. So I think the most logical spot for these guys would be sitting here in the shade of the tree, and I can see this guy pretty much front on and him side on. So I'll turn that, and I want to get them in first because they're probably going to be a bit of the feature. One of the details at least. The tree's the feature, but you want the detail to be interesting at least. So one of the ways to do that is to make sure it's level, and then nicely tuck them in. That looks pretty good to me. Hopefully they look all right from that angle. So the next thing to do is to position the moss, and I've gone and pulled this stuff off of the just the rack that my bonsais are growing on, and I'm going to try to push it into a lot of the grooves to follow the roots down. If you can see here, you want to keep that root exposed, and this one as well, and it will eventually grow onto it, but that's when it looks natural. Yep, I'm happy with that. So you can see the green doesn't go to the edge here, goes to the edge here. This is close to the edge here, but I've got distance here. I've got a point of interest here, and I think what I'll do is choose the rock, which I want to go at the back here. I think I only want one. If you can, hopefully you can see that, maybe that perspective there. I like the way this rock has this angle going back towards the tree. The way I'm going to put that in, if you can see there, is I'm just going to push that in nice and tight so it's down below the edge on both sides, and will form quite a nice spot there for the rock. I think what I want is some, do I want more greenery there? No, I think I'll actually just run the pathway through there, if anything, and then it'll create like a walkway path all the way around the front, around the tree, and then it'll disappear off into the distance in the back, and it'll make you want to look around that side. Same type of principle as I say in aquascaping. I don't think I'm just putting in I guess the substrate in fish talk. In bonsai, it's the gravel and the rocks to finish off the top. And one of the things here is to make sure, again, you maintain that perspective of not too larger rocks, what normally wouldn't be on a pathway if these little guys were real size, and yeah, they'd be walking on it. So it could potentially be like an old creek bed, and I want it to, again, just below the edge so that when it's watered, it doesn't actually wash it out. Some larger ones can go to the back if you've got to build it up, but I think this is probably the right size gravel, because I don't have any of the actual specific bonsai gravel that they sell, but that's, neither here nor there for me. And then check the back out. Now that's an area I would definitely put some moss, and it seems to be growing well in there anyway. This will keep the roots moist too, which is always a good thing. With bonsais being in small pots, they tend to dry out pretty quick. Okay, tucking it in nicely along the edges so nothing washes out. Check around here. I probably will put some in here, although I do like to see those roots. I might just tuck some right in. All right, time for another water, and let's see how it all settles in. Maybe one more readjustment, and then I will give you a better look at it. Okay, so I'm just hanging out in the fish room, and this is about 48 hours, just maybe a little over, since I put these guys in, and I thought that I just moved some plants and they attacked me, and I didn't work out why until, of course, I looked at the rock, and yeah, so they're bred in there within 48 hours, as acaras, or my acaras do anyway. Which I thought was pretty cool. I've sort of adjusted that plant a bit because that's what, you know, was floating around, and I didn't realise that they had eggs in there. So yeah, I'm guessing it's well within a week that I'll have babies in this tank since I put them in. This one was floating as well, which I'm just wondering if there's any eggs on that side of it. But everyone is doing brilliantly, and I just thought that was something that was worthwhile telling you, given it's what is it today? Sunday afternoon, Sunday night actually. Yeah, about 6:30 you could say, I guess. I've been outside filming a bonsai video for you guys. So I'm sitting here feeding the room and found that. So I wanted to share, as I do. All right, on to whatever is next, I guess. So I've decided that, given this is a bonsai video, I would actually open my first beer.
A few moments later.
Explain how I think, I guess at least for me, how the bonsai art turns into aquascaping. So you see what I'm doing outside. So inside I've got, now you've got a, I guess I've got every conceivable light system above here, the LED spotlight, the T5 fluoros, and the T-Mood grow light. Now, this is an Australian native, which is an umbrella tree, and the way I've set it up is, I guess, trying to loosely subscribe to bonsai principles, which is, if you have a tank or a pot, if you break it up into thirds, you can either have the center plant, which is a central stem, central trunk, and then a branch is coming off either side of it. But you then get into all these different other styles within bonsai, which is you can actually have this on 1/3 or on this third, and then have a different scape. For example, just a really low moss across this side if it was over this side and hanging out of the pot, or in this instance the tank. For me, I've gone the 1/3, or maybe pretty a little over, but let's just say 1/3 here, where I have a shorter branch and canopy this side, but the canopy continues along for 2/3 the side, this side of the trunk. So that then obviously means that you need to have, if you're using a tank as opposed to a pot, a plant that enjoys having its roots wet in water. And you'll see that this one has actually started to grow quite well. There's lots of little sort of nodules, see if I can zoom and focus that. So lots of nodules on the roots that are coming through, which is great, which is what I'm looking for. And the shrimp are obviously enjoying themselves in here at the moment, all over that new waterfall that a revamped waterfall that I've set up. But it's quite happy to have its roots completely covered or submerged in water at all times. So now, I guess one last thing to mention before I finish up on the fish room monologue, as it were. When I cut this tree down on this side, because it was pretty even, because it actually was growing literally in the center of here, and it was a different shape for a different purpose. So I had equal amounts either side of the canopy. And when I got to this point, I cut it off, snippy-doo. So, I don't even see it in there. So what I did with the bits that I cut off, and anything growing too tall, I just wanted to see how it went, and I knew it would do okay. But you can see now this is one of the cuttings, and that's another starter bonsai there for sure. Now this was the one that I liked, just because I think, bring it out of there, yeah, the amount of roots, we'll get that off there, the amount of roots that's actually on that plant. You know, what would that be? For me, I'd say 700 mils or 1.5 foot maybe. I don't know if that actually works out. I'll put that on the screen maybe if I remember, if I check through editing. But you can see here it's essentially a new plant. So like any of the cuttings, and I'll show you those on the ficus, I'm sure, outside. But these guys now can be, those root systems can be wrapped around a really unique or unusual rock, and then either put back into an aquascape design or planted in a pot and allow those roots to continue on, because that's all this is. This is simply one of those cuttings that's in a bonsai pot, and you'll have to go back and check the video when I put this together. You'll see I've left it in the bonsai pot right now. So that tree has become, or that bonsai has become that from that. So if you don't have, you know, if you've got friends that have got a you know, tree that you like that will grow in water, absolutely take a cutting. I would say that's probably 3 months, maybe. Oh no, I'd have to go back to the date of the video. In fact, I'll put that on the screen as well. Geez, I hope I check this through editing. But that is the amount of time that it takes to actually get those stems from a cutting and you know, in a fish tank to actually develop some roots. So okay, I guess I should finish up in the fish room. It is close enough to 7 o'clock not to split hairs, and yeah, I've got to go upstairs. Mrs. Fishroom was expecting me an hour ago. It wouldn't be a morning unless I've been visited by the king parrots as usual. Hello, my friend. You guys come and have something to eat. Let your missus in. She's going to be upset at you. Oh, there you go. Hello, sweetheart. A bit too close for you, mate. The girls are always a bit more wary. Just another morning on the balcony. Okay, I have to get into my day. So I'm downstairs at the moment, and I just thought I'd give you a different perspective of the kookaburra rather than just on the balcony. Hello, beautiful. You're waiting for food. You're hungry, I know. My dad's going to feed you soon. Whenever Dad cooks on the barbecue, this guy gets fed. He's actually taken a full steak off the barbecue while my dad was cooking it, believe it or not. So that was a whole rump steak for the kookaburra, and I have no doubt he enjoyed it. But isn't he a beautiful boy? Hello, my friend. It's so nice to have you come and visit. Yeah. Food will be here soon. Now, I don't know if you can see it from here, but I've actually had a lot of my fish eaten in this tub here. I thought from a cane toad, but I'm guessing potentially, if you see this dude hanging in here, can you see him in there? There is a tree snake, and I definitely don't want him in here with my paradise fish. But here he goes in there. He's obviously heard me. He's gone in. Don't really want to get bitten if I can help it. He must have gone under the water in there. What do you think, Zig? I reckon it's a good chance that he's been the culprit all along, who ate my gold dust platties. In fact, it was this tub here. This was the tub that he was in, or that they were in, and they're no longer in here. Tons of shrimp, but I thought it was a cane toad. I did find a cane toad in there, by the way, but these guys do, the green tree snakes do eat fish. That is one of their, and frogs, it's one of their preferred foods. So he's under the water in there. I don't think I'll harass him. I think I'll just keep an eye on him and get him out of here whenever I get a chance. Yeah, you saw him, didn't you? What do you think, Zig? Yeah, I agree. We probably should arrest him. If I get the chance, we will certainly move him on. Oh, and you want this while I'm at it. Okay, I actually just came downstairs to see him. Brutus does stand up. Don't you, Brutus? Occasionally. I was just down here starting up the fish room for the day. I've got to empty these tubs out. I might even do that in a video. I'll see how I go. But anyway, that's just another thing that has happened this morning. I've just come back outside and he's in a slightly better position. There he goes. Off over the back. I now know he's out of the tub. But where he's going to go next, I do not know. I'm going to have to keep an eye on him out here. Won't we, Zig? Okay, guys. Well, what did you think of that? You asked for the bonsai. I put it in. I don't know how it will go. I'm used to doing that stuff pretty much by myself. I usually get time to think and just, wire and cut and do those sorts of things without the pressure of filming. So hope it wasn't too boring. I am just sitting down with these babies. I've just given them their first feed of baby brine shrimp, which is fantastic because it means hopefully I'll be able to see that they're eating, and then as they grow in there and maybe another couple of days of feeding, I'll be able to siphon them out. So the next video to come out is actually, I think, a pretty cool one. It was an impromptu visit up to see Nick and drop off some petricola catfish and some other things to him, some plants to his store. I got to hang out in his fish room with him. We had a couple of beers, as you would expect. He's a big drinker. And yeah, we had a great day, actually. So that'll probably be the next video. And then afterwards, it's going to be these guys here, which I've decided to call Pleco Towers. So for whatever reason, I'm just awesome at naming things, as you know. So make sure you tune in for that one, because I'm really excited about that. And then thereafter, I'm going to hit the waterfall tank. I am so excited to do that. I think I've got all the scaping stuff together there, and I'm actually trying to get a waterfall out the top as well. So I don't know if that'll work or not. But anyway, as always, thank you so much. I really, truly appreciate you guys hanging out with me and taking the time to just watch the stuff that I do. So thanks so much. See you again next time. Bye for now. Yeah, that way. My mate has given me to the stem of the branch. Sorry. It's a nice quiet time. I had a lot of just given them their first feed of baby brine shrimp, which is I've just given them their first feed of baby brine shrimp. Next week's video, I'm most likely, what the f am I doing with next? What am I doing next week? Oh. So the next video to come out is actually one that is a bit of a fill in. So for whatever reason, I'm just awesome at naming things, as you know.